Warning, this podcast has stories of real-life events and true crime that happens every day. These stories may contain adult language and graphic or disturbing details not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised.
132 in Bush, I've got him at gunpoint. Check the left phone for calling a full evacuation at this time.
They're pulling them out.
911. Advise ready for camp.
God!
Welcome to another episode of War Stories. I'm Chuck, and Tom and Matt, who is going to be here today because we have a vet on to talk to. Matt got hit up in some stuff, some personal stuff, and Tom, again, some personal stuff, but we cannot, miss another week. So here it is. Without further ado, Coach JP, Juan Perez. How are you, bro?
I am having a great day, brother. How are you doing? Happy to be here.
Good. Yeah, dealing with some back issues, but other than that, golden. Yeah. I medically retired from law enforcement not too long ago. So now
Congratulations, man.
Thanks. I wish it was not that way, but and I just sit at home now awaiting another job or whatever to come along. So yeah. Dude, I'm going back to school. And I understand you are a Marine vet and former Chicago police officer.
Yes.
Okay. And how I found you was actually pretty cool. Was I was scrolling through the algorithms, I guess, on Facebook, and your coaching stuff came across, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it spoke volumes to me, and that's why I wanted to get you on the show. I was like, oh, this is pretty awesome. Gave your info to our producer, Dylan. And Dylan, I think, reached out to you, and then I reached out to you a bunch of times, and you're like, yeah, I'll come on. So I'm really pumped that you're here today to talk about your mission, your message, and all of that. But as we get ready to start, I mean, you got a lot of stuff. We might as well just jump right into it. How did you get involved in the military? What drove you to the Marine Corps specifically? Maybe it was your upbringing or whatever, but just give us everything.
You know what, man? Honestly, the coolest part of what I get to do now is that every single day I learn something about myself. And it's not even about the present self, it's about the past self. And I can tell you that, like, the reason I joined the military was because I didn't have anything else in life, and that I was involved in gangs, and that the reason I joined was because I didn't know what I was going to do after high school. But honestly, the more I think about it, it was because I grew up in a very broken home without knowing it was broken. I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up. I was a loner. I had undiagnosed ADHD that I didn't realize I had until I actually left the military. And when I started to get my life together a little bit in that last year of high school, I had a girlfriend, I had a mentor. The Marine Corps was presented to me, and it was like, this is what I want to do because I want more than what I have, and I have no idea how to even get there. Like, I didn't think about, I couldn't fathom college. I couldn't fathom anything else. And the Marine Corps was just a place that really gave me all that I needed when I needed it. And then a lot more, obviously, as well. But to me, the Marine Corps was kind of just what made sense because of all the chaos that I had in my life growing up without even knowing it.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, that sounds, it's crazy. It's like I've heard that story so many times from so many Marines. It's nuts. It's like Uncle Sam's misguided children, right? Like that whole adage. It's a lot of people who join the Marine Corps. I mean, I feel like have very similar stories. Not to say that yours isn't special. Yours is 100% special. And I want more people who are feeling lost and stuff like that to go to the military because it really, I mean, it gives you something that you maybe didn't have. And even in homes where people, have a lot, they still feel lost, they're still misguided, and they get to go into a oh my gosh, a weapons club, a gun club that's just completely badass. I mean, I think the Marine Corps is awesome. I'm biased, just as hell because I'm a Marine vet too. That's freaking awesome. Do you think that if you didn't go into the Marine Corps that you would have been a statistic or anything like that growing up or, in your young manhood?
I don't know what I would have done. I was at a point where I was getting out of a bad life growing up around gangs and really not having my dad around when I was little because he was always working and my mom getting sick, that I never really thought about more than where I'm at right now. And I finished high school after going to like 3 different high schools and getting expelled twice and working night shifts while I was still in high school, just because the
Wow.
alternative school that I was going to, the hours were different. And I never really thought about what was after this. Like when I thought about finally doing the military, and everybody thought I was the wrong choice. We didn't really have anybody in our family that was military besides an older cousin who he went to Iraq twice,
Mhm.
went up twice, and came back with issues. And that's the only frame of reference that my parents or my family had of what it was to go into the military. And we're talking 2008.
Mhm.
Like, you know, we're still growing, and Afghanistan is picking up more. So, you know, that's what they thought about when they thought about me
Yeah.
joining the military.
I could imagine being a parent now myself, like how scary that could be. But then I also have that, you know, that reference point of being in the military and being kind of grounded on that side,
Mhm.
and where I can kind of look and be like, well, it's a sense of purpose, and they're going to learn a lot, and it's it's God's plan, and you know, I'm kind of religious, and it's God's plan. And if it's that plan, if it's His plan for my child, my daughter, or my son, um, it doesn't matter if he's in the military or in college. I think that if it's His plan, it's His plan. It's no matter where they're at. It is what it is. It's kind of how I look at it. But I mean, that's deep, dude. And I'm so glad you were able to get into the military, and kind of start your journey. Was it everything that you was cracked up to be? Like when you got in, were you like, this is awesome, or were you like, fuck, this sucks?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I thrived because it gave me everything that I needed for ADHD and for everything that I was lacking in my life, like
Mhm.
mentorship, leadership, and belonging to something more. So it definitely was everything I thought it was. Of course, there was hard times, but I had no frame of reference of anything like that in my life. Like besides games,
Right.
I wasn't involved in any sports growing up. We didn't have the money to do that. I didn't participate in a lot of things growing up. So like for the first time ever, I felt like I was a part of something.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see that. I mean, we had a sergeant in our platoon,
Mhm.
and he was involved in gangs growing up, and he had a really rocky upbringing, and he got real one day, and he was basically like, if it wasn't for this, I'd be fucking dead or in prison, you know, basically. And he did, I think, what, something like 8 years,
Mhm.
and never made it past sergeant. I don't think he wanted to. And then he ended up getting out, EAS'd, and then and now as a cop in North Carolina.
Mhm.
And I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. And you never know, like it's just crazy, and I love it that I see people turn their lives around, and it's freaking amazing. And I want more people. Like honestly, I think everyone should join the military because it teaches you so much about who you are as a person, who you're gonna be,
Yeah.
and how to be a leader and how to be a mentor. And there's so many good things that it teaches you. You know, it's crazy, and no amount of school I think can teach any of that. Um, so when you're in the military, and I say it sucked because I was like, when I got there, I never knew you would clean that much. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this field day is horrible. What is this?
I was used to it. I was a janitor for a little bit before I
Damn, your room must have been spick and span, dude.
yeah, I mean, it was wild. It was wild. It did suck at times for sure.
Yeah. Now, what was your MOS in the military?
I was 0311 and then 0317.
Oh, nice. For people listening, 0317, 0311's infantry, 0317. What is that?
A scout sniper, but it's actually not around anymore. They
I know they got rid of
them.
that.
Mhm.
That's great. One of our instructors was a scout sniper,
Yeah.
and that dude was badass. One gnarly shot. What was it like going through scout sniper school?
So to tell you that story, I'm going to tell you a shorter story beforehand because it's
Sure.
actually very pertinent. When I did decide to enlist and I was getting ready to deploy, not deployed, go to like boot camp, there was a Marine that came on leave or recruit assistance, and he came to the recruiting office from Chicago, and we were all police at the time. And he drilled us and he PT'd us and he ran and we did all the stuff. And then he told us, like, you guys need to like be in shape when you get there, because one day I might lead you in combat. And as a corporal. And fast forward, boot camp, SOI, I get to my unit, I check in, my squad leader freaking calls me over. Perez, come here. I fucking run over to him. He's like, where do I know you from? I'm like, oh shit, I think he recognizes me. So it's the same Marine. So
Oh, shit.
Yeah, Sergeant Peters, staff sergeant now, but he was the same Marine that was there at the pool function.
Yeah. No shit. That's full circle. That's kind of cool, man.
Yeah. And he was actually a scout sniper as well, all through 17. And he knew that I wanted to do that because he knew all of us really well. He was a great leader. I still actually keep in touch with him, and we do meetups and stuff like that. He was 0317, so he actually trained me the entire time that I was his Marine, and we went to Afghanistan, and I was doing the workup with him and all that in preparation to go to the sniper platoon when I got back. So sniper school was actually pretty awesome because I had a chance to like use a lot of stuff that he taught me, and then all the stuff that I learned in the platoon before you go to the actual school. It was a great experience. It was definitely eye-opening how small of a reason it was for someone to fail, that you would be scared of failing out all the time. Like, just like, God damn, don't let it be me. Don't let it be me. The whole time it was stressful, but it was fun for the most part.
Oh, I bet. I mean, the stress of not wanting to get recycled or having your dreams just go up in smoke.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you're done. They're not sending you back.
Yeah. Dude, like my boy, he wanted to go to recon, and he was a comm guy, and he was re-enlisting, and he was like, I want to go to recon. And he's like, they're like, cool. And he's like, I'm gonna pass. He did not pass. He made it to swim qual, and they were like, you're done. Yeah. And we were amphibious, so for him to fail swim qual opened my eyes to how gnarly that was. And and he was telling me the same thing, like how small things are to fail out. And you know, and I'm just like, holy crap, how does anyone ever make it through that stuff? I mean, if you can get failed out for the smallest thing, how do you get through something so difficult, especially like sniper school?
Yeah. They want you to think about the failure all the time, so that they don't want small mistakes. They don't want you leaving a piece of trash on your stock lane, because that could equate to you leaving a piece of trash in Afghanistan and getting identified. Right. So like, they want you to think about everything because they want you to prepare. So you're literally thinking about failing all the time. So every movement that you do, every action that you take, what time you wake up, how you, like, you don't even think about cheating. Like, nobody thinks about cheating, because you know that, number one, it's an integrity violation. You'll be out no matter what. But number two, like, you know that you'll cheat yourself, because at the end of the day, all the people that fail, it's not because they cheated wrong or this or that. It's just because of something that was an inattention to detail on them. So like, you just always have that attention to detail.
Right. And it's not like college where you have filler and fluff stuff that you have to get done that you're like, fuck it, I'll do whatever for it. I really won't pay attention. Everything that they're teaching you is going to help save your life or save someone else's life, or not get exposed and not kill your whole fucking unit, or, you know, whatever. And I think that stuff is some of the best training that is around. It's actual things that matter, not all this fluff bullshit that you get in college, you know. And I can't stand it. I have ADHD too, and a lot of that stuff, I'm just like, dude, this is so stupid. Like, we're never going to use this. Why? Can we just do the stuff that is like, you could, like, so I'm in my MBA, right? And they could condense that fucking thing down to like 6 months. Yeah. If you just went over everything that you needed to know and get rid of all this fluff filler bullshit and just boom, 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 right? And I look at some of the military schools and I'm like, dude, you learn so much shit just in one school in such a short amount of time. And how long is sniper school?
3 months.
Dude, and to think about it, that's not even a long time.
It's not. My police academy was 6 months.
Mine too.
Yeah.
and that I felt like had a lot of fluff and filler, but most
so
of it,
much. Like 2 hour lunches at the end of the, like, by the time we're almost done, they were giving us 2 hour lunches. They didn't know what to do with us. They had to keep us there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think you probably had some similar stuff because we work for 2 big agencies, and I think they're very similar. And we'll get into that, but,
Yeah.
I love the Marine Corps stuff. I love Scout Snipers. I think they're fucking awesome because one of my instructors at SOI MCT was,
Yeah.
because I wasn't a grunt, but, so I went to MCT, and one of our guys there was a freaking Scout Sniper, and he talked it up so much, and that dude was a killer. He was crazy, and he taught us so much good shit,
Yeah.
and I love it. So you made it through, you passed. And did you do any pumps as a Scout Sniper?
No, I did one pump as a sniper, but it wasn't to combat zone. It was to even though they counted it as a combat deployment, just because the Navy wanted to count it towards their ribbons. It was a
South
MEU.
America?
We did a MEU. Yeah, they I think they crossed into some sort of sea border, just so they could count it. I don't know. But no, I didn't get a chance to do one as a Scout Sniper, and that bothered me for a long time because there was actually a deployment that I ended up not turning down because it was a volunteer deployment for 1 year with
Right.
a MADTAF, I think.
Okay.
But I ended up not doing it, and it haunted me for years.
Mhm.
But then I realized, like, I can't dwell on the past, you know?
Right. You start getting to a point where you're like, this is wasted energy that I could be
Yeah.
focusing somewhere else. Yeah. So I do know you did deploy because you kind of mentioned it, and then we kind of glazed right over it. How was that deployment?
That one was hot, long. I've been microdosing a little bit of marijuana now that I'm not a cop anymore, and it's this. I know it's maybe it doesn't feel relevant, but I promise it is. And it's opened up my eyes to my
Mhm.
memories. It's like it's unlocking
shit.
memories, dude. I'm telling you, man. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying, for me, my opinion, doing that has been like eye opening because I actually remember more, and I feel myself in that memory, and I can play out the entire memory from like almost start to end. And I'm like, shit, I don't even remember that. I can tell you the big
Wow.
moments of Afghanistan. I can tell you when we went south. I can tell you about my first firefight. I can tell you about our first casualty. I can tell you about like the big events, but like the patrols that were day to day, where they were like just the same thing over and over again in my mind, they just kind of disappeared. And
Mhm.
I've been remembering stuff, and a lot of like different memories came up. One time I got lost for like 10 minutes, and that memory I like stuffed it down. We were on patrol
Oh
in
shit.
Afghanistan. We were in it was Southern Helmand province, and we were in where were we? It was not Cody Ram. It was when Safar Bazaar. So we're in Safar Bazaar 2010. We're on patrol. This is a kinetic area. We just actually took this AO. Our battalion took it over 3-1, and we are in a kinetic area. We're getting into firefights every like 4 to 5, maybe sometimes even less days at each platoon or each squad. Not even platoon, squad. And it was not a nighttime patrol, but it was towards the evening hours, so it's getting darker.
Right.
And we would do Marine, ANA, Marine, ANA as far as the patrol. And the ANA is the Afghan National Army, the guys that were attached to us.
Right.
And we went through a village, and the person in front of me was the ANA. So he stopped at a doorway, and I assumed that the patrol had halted at that doorway because I couldn't see the rest of the patrol. We were going through like 2 buildings, basically.
Mhm.
So I was the last man in the patrol, and he stopped at the doorway. And I'm assuming that we took a halt, and we apparently didn't, because I finally went up to him after about 2 minutes. And I'm like, what's going on? Are we moving yet? He's like, they went, or however he said it. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And I remember like hauling ass, not even thinking about IEDs, not even thinking about anything, with this fucking like A&A guy with me. It's dark at this point almost. I'm sure we're returning to base soon. And I remember hauling ass like towards where I think the patrol went towards, and I have no
Oh
fucking
shit.
clue. Yeah. And I stuffed this memory down because it's one of those memories of like, I'm never telling anybody because nobody found out.
Right.
And I remember like being so fucking scared. Like it's about to be dark out here. I know where I'm at in an area because this is a new area, but I don't know exactly how to get back there right now. If I have to get back there, I have this fucking A&A guy with me. I remember hauling ass, and like we finally caught up to the patrol. And apparently at some point, the Marine and the A&A on the patrol in front of us, or the patrol that was ahead of us, they switched. So it was 2 A&A guys. So the last A&A guy didn't realize that there wasn't his other buddy behind them. So he just forgot. And this guy was just standing at the door, not realizing that they had left. We got up to him, and that was it. I never told anyone. This is the first time I tell this story ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and never told anybody. Never found out. I don't. Yeah.
Shit, dude. I can't imagine being fucking lost in Afghanistan, dude. Like how scary that fucking can be, you know. I mean, I've heard of other like Dark Horse and stuff like that. We had a guy come on for Dark Horse, and he was Captain I think at the time he was Captain Patterson, but he's like, I think when he retired, he was like Colonel or some shit, Patterson. Awesome dude. And he talked about one of his dudes, how he just disappeared and fucking went off on like a fucking tangent, like a smoking spree, and just smoked a shit ton of people because he got shot in the neck, and it was just fucking nuts. And then he came back, and so I've heard stuff like that where it was like, but never on the opposite side where like, fuck, dude, they just were gone, and I had no fucking idea. Like that, how fucking, like, I know you said it was scary, but how scary was it in a foreign fucking country in a war zone to be like, everyone's gone? Like, I don't want to end up on CNN. I don't want to get my fucking head lopped off. Like that must have been some next level shit.
Honestly, man, like I remember running in the direction I was running with this fucking guy next to me. I wasn't walking. I wasn't looking for IDs. I wasn't fucking patrolling at that point. I was just trying to hopefully catch up to the rest of the patrol. And I remember thinking, like, when I saw that NA guy, that thank God we went in the right direction. But
fuck yeah,
in my head, I was already fucking thinking of a plan. Like, we're gonna have to, like, we're not gonna be able to move at night, because it's better for us to stay in some sort of poppy field somewhere for the fucking night where they send out patrols looking for us. Because eventually, at some point, somebody's gonna figure out the fuck, like, we're missing. And there's going to be hopefully a patrol that walks through here in the morning, and we can fucking, identify ourselves to them. But like, I felt like if I got caught, we were in an area we had just been in for like less than a month, and the Taliban had a real big stronghold there.
Oh yeah.
So like, we have no fucking clue how the locals, and we'll never really know how they feel about us, because they have to play the part. And I get that, right? But like here, we're the invaders now. They have not seen Americans in this part of Afghanistan. Yeah. The Taliban has been here. So I don't know how they see us. I don't know how they'll treat us. I don't know if they would turn us in, if they would, somehow get the Taliban to us. And I really fucking thought, like, there's no way that we're going to make it back to base tonight. We're going to have to find a place to fucking, like, hunt her down, find a house, take somebody's fucking property. Like, I didn't know what we were going to do, but I knew that there was no way that we were going to make it back, especially at night, going through villages. Because we had gone through like 3 villages, and going around them, right, the farmers are out there at that time. Like, they're still out there, like, late at night, even when they're not supposed to be, but they do. And especially
because it's so fucking hot. In the day.
Yeah.
Do you think, because you were involved in some firefights, do you think that unknowing of being lost by yourself with one other dude, that could be a fucking setup where he's just like, hey, we're gonna segregate this one dude over here, and then we'll make an example of him? Do you like? I know that would have been running through my mind. You know what I mean? And when you first started telling me, I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, maybe he set you up, like that type of shit already starts running through my mind. So I can only imagine that that's probably running through yours. Do you think being in a firefight was less scary than that, and this was more scary? Do you think they were even, or how do you think that could compare to being in a firefight? I mean, I know it's 2 totally different things, but you have all that unknowing in your head. You're like, dude, what if he set me up? What if I'm about to get ambushed, and then taken, or I'm going to have to, fight my way out so I don't lose my fucking head on live TV?
I think if this happened before the firefight, I think it would have been a little bit more scary. I think so. The firefight happened pretty quickly into our deployment. And then we ended up relocating to a different area, which is where we got into our firefight initially. And then the whole battalion went down there. And then this happened after the fact, after we moved into this new area. And I do remember thinking, like, this motherfucker is probably going to shoot me in the head or something. So I actually wasn't walking in front of him. I was making him run with me.
Right.
And I do remember thinking that no matter what, I'm not getting fucking captured. I'm not going to fucking get captured. I don't care if I have to fucking... I don't care who I have to fucking take care of. If I have to find a place to stay for the night, like, I will. I just knew that I was going to make it home tonight, or make it back to base at some point, because I was not going to get captured. And that actually brings it back to the firefight, because I remember. So I'll tell you about the first firefight a little bit.
Can I just say something real quick before
please.
I forget? The mindset of a Marine is if anyone was ever wanted a snapshot into the mindset of a Marine, a United States Marine, that right there, I'm not going to be fucking captured. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, and I'm making it back.
Yeah.
That's the mindset of a Marine. There is no, I can't. There is no, we're fucked. It's no, we're going to fucking do it, and I don't give a fuck how we're going to do it. I don't care how hard it's going to be. We're doing it, and we're going to keep going. It doesn't fucking matter. And I just want to let everyone know that is a mindset of a fucking Marine right there. And I'm only speaking for Marines because I am a Marine, and that's it. So I'm not shitting on any other branches. It's just it is what it is, guys. So yeah. So continue.
So the first firefight we're in, and this will show you the other side of the mindset of the Marine. First firefight we're in, at some point during the firefight, we made it into this building, and I get up on the roof, and my saw takes a shit on me. I was a saw gunner, and I ended up having to take my buddy's saw, who was down below me, because I'm the one on the roof, and he was down there. So we switched saws, and I got on the roof, and I fucking started shooting back. And then they found us. Then they saw us, because we were in the building initially, and then we got on the roof, and then bam, we're still laying down on the prone. I have no cover. And then there were snipers over to the right of me, and they were behind this chimneys, like a big chimney stack. And then the chimney stack starts taking contact. You can see the rubble and the debris just coming off of the stack, and then you see the snipers, like, they're pinned down, and they're yelling like, "Hey, we're pinned down. We can't move." We're like, both sides of the chimney stack, they're taking fire.
Ooh.
And then I see, like, that debris pile starts getting closer and closer. And I remember then I start feeling like rounds zipping over me. And I remember feeling like dirt or concrete or like the fucking mud houses that they're made out of, like, kicking into my face. And I'm behind my saw. And I remember all I thought about was like, fuck, I'm going to get shot in the face. I'm going to fucking catch a round to the face. And I'm going to be unrecognizable. And it's going to have to be a fucking closed casket. I'm like, fuck that, man. Like, I don't want to fucking get shot in the face. Like, I was praying and I was shooting, and I was like, hopefully a round just catches my helmet, or I don't fucking know. But I really fucking believed that I was going to take a round to the face. Like, it's one of those things of, like, somebody's about to punch you and you know that punch is coming, and, like, your face is just bracing for it. And I felt like I was making that face the whole time as I was, shooting. And then I remember also, like, moving my body more towards the ledge of the building, because I thought that if I get shot, I want them to be able to fucking take me off the roof easily without me causing more problems for them. How can they get me off easily? And yeah, man, it was thankfully, like, I didn't get shot in the face, and we kept moving and we kept going. But after that, after not getting shot in the face, when you believed you're gonna get shot in the face, you almost feel like, well, I didn't fucking get shot in the face. And if I was gonna get shot in the face, that's when it would have happened.
Right.
Second stretch of the firefight after the lull in the fight, and then we everybody get their second wind, them and us apparently. We end up, like, actually buddy rushing through a field, like actual buddy rushing, like we learned in SOI.
I'm up, they see me, I'm down.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Buddy
fuck.
rushing through a field. And it was another building we're taking contact from, and we made it through that one, and then we ended up getting sent out without going back to our base. So we were actually out during that first firefight for like 7 days. It feels like, I could be wrong, but it fucking felt like 7 days.
Right.
And they had to bring us food and water. We were out in this, like, listening post. And I'm sure that was because our squad leader was a scout sniper, because I know that he would have volunteered our squad for all the fucking, like, gnarly missions and all the shit that everybody was like no to. He would fucking say, we got it. And I know that because, like, he hasn't told me that, but I know that. And I'm okay with that because I liked it. But yeah, I ended up, like, having to drink well water. I ended up getting dysentery. It was freaking disgusting. And I'm sorry to talk about that, but, like, that's part of it. Like, fucking firefight, adrenaline, and then, like, this lull. And then, like, for 3 days, you're barely eating. You have to end up drinking well water. And before you know it, you're back at it again.
Yeah, shitting your brains out.
Yeah, it was bad.
Dude, that sucks, man. I can only imagine dysentery. I mean, that's crazy. But and then I guess you said another snapshot into the Marine's brain where most people would fucking duck cover and run away, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna die. And then you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't die. Hey, let's just fucking rush them.
Yeah.
Let's rush them. Let's go away from our cover. Let's move.
Yeah.
Shoot, communicate, advance on the threat, and fucking smoke it. Like, let's go do that, because that makes more sense than fucking sitting here and getting shot at in cover. And people are like, that's fucking crazy. Nah, dude, like that makes a lot of sense. And that's again, that is the brain of a Marine. And they're just fucking gnarly. I mean, that's some scary shit, dude, getting shot at. And then I know cops who get shot at and they'd be like, fuck that. I'm done. You know what I mean? It's just a different breed of human. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so that kind of set you up for your whole deployment. What was the rest of your deployment like after that one pivotal moment?
So we ended up going back north where we were originally at, and eventually the entire battalion pushed south, like I mentioned. When we were up north, it was a more established area for the most part. It was a little bit more, it was a lot more established, meaning that the unit that was there before us, they had a stronghold in it, and the Taliban had probably moved on to a different area, which is what they do. They find a different area to control. And I mean, look where we're at now, right? But when we ended up going back south, that's when things continued to kick off. We had casualties. We had one of the guys in our platoon ended up stepping on an IED and ended up losing both of his leads. And we had to, medevac him. And I remember that incident, and that's one of those memories that you can't put away. You just relive it all the time. And the reason I relived it so much was because of because I thought that it was I thought it was supposed to be me, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So our buddy, my freaking my patrolman, my point man, guy with the little, I don't know how effective those things were, the little minesweeper, ends up getting blown up. And I run up to him, and we're putting on the tourniquets, and we're calling the medevac, and we're getting shot at, and the helicopter won't land until it's a little bit safer. And we all rushed up to him. I remember at that point we had run out of food, or something was happening to the point where I had to, and I don't know why I was doing this, but I had an MRE box on top of my shoulder. Apparently we didn't have meals or something. I don't fucking remember.
Just like,
yeah, I know.
What's up, guys?
I was patrolling with an MRE box. We were obviously like picking up food and taking it back somewhere. I don't fucking remember.
That makes sense. I mean, food is a commodity. Food is a definite commodity anywhere where you don't have food. Like you fucking hold on to that shit. Yeah.
And I say that because it was one of the patrols that it was one of our first patrols once we were back south for the second time. And we had ended up like we finally got a medevac, and we just rushed to him. Like we didn't do, and this is the hard part to say out loud, right? Because we're human beings, but we're trained as Marines. So like when you're 15 meters away, and like your buddy gets blown up, who this is, like you have shared the last year of your life with this guy. You have matching tattoos, and it wasn't just me and him; it was me and everybody else. First of all, but like it's Colin. Like I just ran up to him, and it wasn't the right way to do it, but we all fucking did.
Right.
And like there's that human emotion that like that's what they try and deprogram from you in the military, and I fucking get it. And there was other stuff that I was able to do very much methodically, right? But like this one, it was just the human side. And we put tourniquets on, and we got a medevac finally, and I was just running all over, like hit the area that he was at. And I remember like 2 months later, we finally had an actual patrol base set up, because we didn't have anything down there. We didn't have no patrol bases. It was brand new territory. Marines had not been there. And we finally had a patrol base set up, and we were right by. We could see from one of our posts the blast site where Colin got hit. Like we could visually see it. It was like maybe 150 meters. And they sent EOD out there 2 months later, and they had this program. I don't fucking know if it was successful or not, but they were trying to gather evidence as if they are fucking evidence technicians. They were trying to establish law enforcement. They were trying to have a, judicial system where they could process the evidence from a blast site and convict someone. They were trying to establish democracy, believe it or not, right? In the country that is not ever and never will be that way.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess I'm angry. I'm not angry about that. So it's more of like, it's frustrating because we were trying to do this that was not something that I believe Marines should be doing. And EOD, instead of just doing what EOD does and they blow up stuff, they were trying to gather evidence and parts of the explosion, not for their own training or purposes. It's not safe at that point. Like, blow the shit up. In training, it's different. But here, they're trying to do more than they've ever really done or should do. I don't know. And they went back to the blast site, or at least what I believed was the blast site. And Gunny Hawley, one of the EOD technicians, set off a secondary IED, and he was immediately killed. And
Jesus,
dude, I'm talking like for 10 years, I believed that it was like the same exact site. And it turns out it was about 100 meters behind, but I didn't know that information. And I thought, why the fuck did it happen to him? Like, we were all there, a bunch of 20-something-year-old kids compared to this. I think he was like 28 at the time, which to me, as a 21-year-old, that's an adult in the military, especially in the Marines. You know how we treat
exactly. Yeah,
you're old if you're 25.
Yeah, you're an old, you're a salty bastard if you're close to 30.
Yeah, and it was frustrating because it was like, this guy had 2 kids. I believed I was going to die in this deployment. Why wasn't it me instead of him? And I dealt with that shit for like 10 years. I went to therapy for it, and I actually ended up talking to Mark about it. Mark Peters, the squad leader that was with me that day, because I was the same squad leader that was with me that day. And I talked to him about it a couple years ago, and he told me, he's like, no, it was actually 100 meters behind. They had been at the other site, but that they relocated to another site, and that's where it happened. So it didn't really lift anything on my shoulders because I had already kind of forgave myself for something that I wasn't culpable for. But it was definitely different to know, I guess,
Right. Do you think some of that's like survivor's guilt, or you're just angry that people were doing so? Yeah. And I mean, do you think that EOD doing that type of stuff took away some of their capabilities and what they were actually looking for? Maybe took their guard down or whatever.
I think that one of the best things about the Marine Corps is also one of the worst things about the Marine Corps. I think the Marine Corps is so adaptable. It's a quick, ready fighting force, and Marines are trained in so many different things, and they wear so many hats, and therefore we feel so fucking capable. And we actually do it.
Right.
Like, we do more with less, and we figure it the fuck out.
That is true.
Yeah. But go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that's true.
But that also means that we subconsciously lack some training. Like, you can't be a master of all trades.
No.
So because the Marine Corps teaches you to fucking raise your hand and volunteer, to never say no, to have a winning mindset, which means that, guess what? You don't want to quit. You don't want to say no. You take on challenges that maybe you don't really need to take on, that are going to be a little bit more dangerous. And maybe you've had 4 or 5 deployments, so therefore you feel a little bit more competent. And you end up saying yes to something that maybe you don't have to do, or your boss does for you because your boss believes in you so much because the Marine Corps has taught you that you are fucking superb, and you are. But the thing is, sometimes we take on too much, especially in the Marines. Somebody above you says yes for you because they're going to make you do it, because the Marine Corps will make you do it, and you will make somebody else do it because guess what? That's what you learned. So I think that EOD doing more than what they're supposed to do is a nature of the beast, where we are also not combat engineers, yet our point man was trained literally in a matter of 2 fucking weeks to how to sweep for mines.
Yeah, which, dude, that's a long fucking course to learn how to do.
I don't even think he
It's
went through the full
dangerous as
course.
fuck.
He did like a hands-on. It wasn't even a full course. And then
Probably-
they gave him a minesweeper and said, well, you're the point man. You're the minesweeper. And guess what? The Marine Corps fucking taught him. He can't say no.
Right. And I totally get that, man. Improvise, adapt, overcome. No, I get it. No. It's great. That shows your human side, dude.
Yeah.
And I went through a bomb making course, like to work with C4 and det cord and how to make satchel charges, Banglar mines, and shit like that, because I worked with explosive ordnance with my unit. Amphibious assault vehicles where we worked the MICLICs, and we couldn't fucking operate them. Yeah, we couldn't operate them overseas because in Afghanistan it's too rocky. Like probably the same reason why you didn't have a minesweeper out there from combat engineers, where it looks like a fucking tank, where it has that grate in the front where it pushes all the ground and blows that shit up and then sets fucking flags in the back, so you have a safe distance to walk, or safe field of operation to walk in and operate in, where there's no mines here because we just ran over it and we swept for them. You can't use that because it's too fucking rocky. You just can't. Maybe in some of the areas of Afghanistan, but not most of the areas where all the fighting was taking place. I would assume, because that was what they told us, why we couldn't go out there. And we had, fucking rockets, C4 and shit like that. And we went through what I think was like maybe a week or 2 week long course to learn how to make mines, blow shit up, fuck with C4 and explode shit. And that was really cool. But am I a fucking expert? Can I put that down as I'm an EOD expert? Fuck no. I had a crash course on how to do this if I absolutely needed to do it. And that was it. And it sounds like the exact same thing your boy went through. It's like, hey, this is your crash course because we can't be out there with you. And it's the Marine Corps. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Know the person's job above you. Know their job above them. It's kind of like what happens. And I ended up doing something, in the military that was not. It was like I ended up becoming a section leader when I got injured for a little bit. I had to have shoulder surgery because I fucked it up playing Marine Corps football. And so while I was recovering from that, like the 2 fucking months that I was recovering, 3 months that I was recovering, they put me as a fucking section leader. And I was doing all these logbooks and all this other shit that I had never done before, after action reports and, getting service for vehicles. And it's all this shit that you're like, holy fuck, like I can do this. I'm doing it well. But then people start getting really comfortable, like, okay, we can put more on their shoulders and stuff like that. And you're just like, all right, we're getting through it. We're making it through. It doesn't mean we're a fucking expert in it. Because like you said, you cannot be a jack of all trades. You can be an expert in one area and proficient in another, but are you going to be an expert in that area that you're proficient in? No, probably not. You're going to be able to get it done. And sometimes that exactly can be the downfall. And that's, but a lot of people taking so much shit on their plate. And I think
I want to add one more thing.
No, go for it.
I wouldn't change a thing about my time in the military. I don't believe that I would be where I'm at right now with this business and this podcast and the studio and able to leave my job after 10 years and quit my job. And I don't believe I would have been successful in the police department if it wasn't for my time in the military. So as much as I look back on all the lessons, I understand that it was needed then. I understand that the Marine Corps has to be like that freaking pit bull that America can just release. I get that. And I wouldn't change a thing, not everything, but I wouldn't change most of it. So like, I appreciate the challenges. I appreciate when I was put in a position that pushed me to my limits. I appreciate all of the hardships. I just think the real lesson happens when like you get out and you realize you need different tools to survive and eventually thrive out here, because society is not the military. Right. That's my only point of like, I think back and I just think about why I carry some of the shit that I carry with me. And now I'm at a point where I'm helping other people unbecome a lot of their shit too. But it's not that it was bad. It was just needed then. It's just not needed now.
Right. Yeah. And the same shit that put a lot of things, excess weight on your shoulders to improvise, adapt, and overcome is probably the same mindset that has allowed you to be successful in your life to date.
Absolutely.
So it seems like you dealt with a lot of stuff on your time in the military. That first deployment, you're like, holy shit, like that was a lot. Like you thought you were going to die. It was so much for you. What was it like when you came back?
I remember feeling like when I came back, like, I don't know. It's so hard to think about it just because I was never really present when I was back. I kept thinking about Afghanistan. I kept thinking about, could we have done any better? I just kept thinking about everything from Afghanistan. So like I was back, but it was really a blur. because I remember like I was not fucking present, and I just felt like I was on this autopilot, and everybody is either getting out and everyone's leaving the platoon, and we're getting a new boot drop, and like just right around the corner they're doing the stay in dock, because that's when I did the sniper in dock. And I just remember like thinking like everything feels like it's going so fast, but every day feels like it's just so fucking slow. And it's just because you go from this high of like, we're on patrol, we might get blown up, we get into this firefight, oh, second squad, you know, they got some, maybe we'll get some too, and like you just welcome it. You just know that, hey, it might happen, and if it does, you're going out how I think for the most part most Marines who join because they know they want to go to combat, maybe subconsciously that's how they want to go out. I don't speak for everybody, but I think that in my mind, like when I accepted it and like I thought about it and I made it home, I just, well, I don't know what to do now. I don't know if I was supposed to make it this far, and like, what do I do now? And I'm like, well, I'm going to do the in-doc because that's what I've been wanting my entire life. Let's see if this is the thing that makes me feel that high, you know?
Right. Constantly chasing that cortisol spike and the adrenaline spike and adrenaline dump, you know, constantly chasing that high, you know, I totally get that. I mean, from my time in the military and my time in law enforcement, totals of what, like 17 fucking years. And I totally understand that. I mean, that is something that I think we all face.
Yeah.
Even when I got injured, I was still like fucking chasing that, because the military and law enforcement does a really good job of keeping your mind quiet, or I wouldn't say quiet, I would say fucking occupied with a job and a mission. And I think the moment that shit stops is when you lose your sense of purpose. And I think that is one of the toughest things to deal with. And personally for me was probably some of the toughest things to deal with was losing a sense of purpose and being like, you know, and I'm sure you're probably hard on yourself. I was hard on myself. I'm like, I'm a fucking piece of shit, dude. Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Yeah, I might be earning a fucking paycheck, but fuck, I feel lost at the same time, you know. And I could only imagine like the shit that was going on, you know. I mean, when you went through sniper school, you're probably pretty okay because you're staying busy when you weren't okay, you know what I mean? And then when you got out, I mean, I can only imagine you wait, did you jump straight from military, from the Marine Corps straight into law enforcement pretty quickly?
I ended up getting out early. I had a 7-year contract, and I got out after 5.5 years because they were doing an early out program.
The downsizing, yeah.
Yeah, and it really affected them because they ended up losing a lot of combat veterans, and that definitely affected the Marine Corps. But I ended up getting out a year and some change early because I ended up going to work for a private security firm in Los Angeles that did private security for celebrities and stuff like that. And that didn't work out. Moved back to Chicago.
What was the company? Was it 360
Gavin Becker and Associates. I'm pretty sure that they make you sign all this paperwork. So I know that I'm outside of the point where I can actually say their name. So Gavin DeBecker and Associates. Leave that in there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. They make you sign all this paperwork, man. It's wild.
Yeah, probably because of the stars. I know a lot of coppers on my agency who run some of that stuff, you know, for, you know, executive protection and shit like that, you know, so I get it. And then so you from there you went into law enforcement, yeah?
So I ended up leaving there and I moved back to Chicago in 2013. I ended up moving in with my girlfriend, who I didn't really fucking know. We did long distance and I didn't know her. And it was a mistake for sure, looking back on it. And I fucking thought, well, I have to do this. I better do this. Okay, I guess this is what's next. Okay, these veterans that have been out longer, this is what they're doing. I think this is what I gotta fucking do. And just like that, I ended up selling sheets at the mall, hating my life. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with myself? I'm a fat piece of shit. And like applying to like 30 departments. And like every test I did, I got better and better. But the smaller departments, they're making the list for the next 3 years and they're not taking a lot of people.
Right.
So that's, you know, expected. And I ended up getting on with Chicago at the same time. Like 2 other departments called me. One of them was actually a department that I had been arrested in a lot. And the chief of police was actually one of the sergeants that had arrested me at one point or did something for me. So he remembered me when we did.
And they wanted to hire you?
Yeah, man. Just like
that's awesome.
Yeah. I remember he asked me this very weird question during the interview. It was the only one. It was Bolingbrook Police Department. They had a panel interview, and this is all public information, so whatever. And they had each person had a question, but it was all about how would you handle a situation. I remember his question was, how much does the saw weigh? And I remember 24.79 pounds unloaded, 32.23 loaded. I can't believe I still remember that.
Holy shit,
and
man.
he was like, all right, good shit. You're right. I'm right. I was a sergeant for 2 fucking years. But they offered me the job, and I ended up not taking it just because it was like the week. I remember taking the phone call as I was wearing my silly little suit that I barely fit into for my first week of Chicago Police Academy training. So that's why I ended up turning it down.
Right. And you're like, fuck, I'm already here, but you probably have loyalty just like every other Marine. And you're like, I already said yes. I can't not say yes now just because something else came along. I already said yes and I'm committed. Fuck it. And so you did that. How was that? How was serving in law enforcement, especially in Chicago?
I treated it as an extension of the military in my mind, where like now I'm in a different platoon, different people. And like, I didn't change the way I was at all. So the same way that I was as a Marine NCO, I sometimes was like that in the police department, because I didn't have any sort of, change in between. I went to school for like half a year, and I didn't do well there. Same freaking reasons. And as soon as the police department called me, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with school. And I remember like being in the police and knowing that the same way that in the military, I wanted to get to a team where they'd leave us alone and we could do a little bit of what we wanted, knowing that I wanted to do the end dot so I can get the snipers. I wanted to do the same thing in the departments. I wanted to get into the TAC teams because those were the guys that had their own office. They wore whatever they want. They did, whatever they wanted within the lines. But everybody fucking hated them and everybody wanted to be them. So in my mind, I'm like, that's where I want to fucking be. And I worked my ass off for the first 2 years, and I finally got money back there, and I got into a team, and I was only on patrol for 2 years, and 8 years of my career were working on TAT teams or gang enforcement teams. Also, I did undercover work in the gang investigation side of the house, worked a lot of different really cool stuff. I was also like the area intelligence officer for like all the gangs on the west side of Chicago. And like for the first 2 years, I was just waiting to make it to where I would finally make it. And that was like working undercover. And like when I finally made it there, that's when actually everything changed for me, because they ended up disbanding the unit after me being there for 8 months, and they put us on the trains, Chuck. So I went from buying dope on the west side of Chicago as an undercover cop to arresting people because they didn't pay their train fare.
That's so silly.
I mean, talk about moral issue plus lack of purpose and mission and identity. I mean, all of it at once, man. And that's when it hit me from like, even from the military, like, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
And that's when everything kind of changed for me. And that's when I made some really, really big changes in my life.
Wow. Yeah. Congrats on making it to those fucking units, because I know so many people try and strive so hard to do, and it seems like you got there decently quick. And that's a feat in itself. And it sounds like, other than that, when they disbanded the unit, and that shit happens so much to really good units, and it's so the reasons why they happen is so stupid. And honestly,
it's political.
Exactly. And I tried getting into a dope team for the whole city that I worked in LA. And it was called the main unit was or the main like branch was Gang and Narcotics Division, right? It was a whole fucking division of it's called GND. And my buddy worked the buy team there, and I was like, fuck, I want to get to the buy team. And I already had a classmate there, and I was like, dude, you guys know I've been cutting my teeth on dope arrests, on dope arrests, on dope arrests. I was fucking like a court fucking certified expert in dope, or close to it, because I did so many dope arrests and so many gang arrests to the point where I would have DA or DAs or whatever, or the assistant DAs, the ADAs come up to me like, you're a fucking gang officer? Yeah. And I'm like, no, not a gang officer. They're like, holy fuck, your shit's written like gangs. In fact, it's better than the gang unit that as at your division. And I'm like, no, I've done a lot of gang stuff, and I'm trying to get into a unit. I not here, but in, whatever. And they're like, oh fuck, that's awesome. And so I was cutting my teeth on that. And then finally, when my boy was like, hey, he was a D2, and he's like, hey, we're going to pick you up. I'm like, all right, cool. a guy I used to work with was there. My classmate was there. I was like, I'm going to fit in great. Like, I already know that they're talking good about me because I've worked with both of them. And next thing you know, boom, unit gets disbanded for the dumbest fucking reason. And I was like, are you kidding me? Right when I was about to get called. And I was like, this is some bullshit. And it was for no reason other than some fucking captain wanted to make a name for herself. And she ended up fucking everybody because they couldn't just mess with one area that she was complaining about. So they did the whole fucking division. And so they got rid of all patrol officers and said the only people who can be in this division are detectives. And so you had dudes getting kicked out after like 10, 15 years who are working in gang and narcotics division on other, facets of the division, because it was massive. And it was the dumbest thing. So I definitely get where you're coming from. So what caused you to have so you had a good career as a cop, like you were, it looks like you were making a name for yourself. You were moving. It seemed like everything was trending other than that one area. Everything was trending upward. What caused you to be like, all right, I'm done?
I started seeing the writing on the wall. The person that we had worked our entire career for the most part, he was a good leader. He was military. He should have been chosen for superintendent. And I started seeing the writing on the wall of like they disbanded the unit for politics. And the old timers will tell you, well, it'll work its way back, kid. Don't worry about it. We'll be here again. But like, I don't want to live in a cycle of, you get put out to pasture and then they say, hey, we still need you actually. Like, I don't want to just be at their behest.
Right.
And then people started just getting the places that they shouldn't have been, and the people that should have been promoted were not. And you would just see people that were in positions that it frustrates you. And it's like in the military where you see someone that stayed in because they didn't have anything else, and now they're the staff sergeant that isn't worth his fucking salt, but yet he's in charge of something. Well, you see that everywhere you go. And I just started thinking about my life, and I'm like, I feel like I've just been running from one thing to one thing and like not looking around to like, what do I want? Who the fuck am I? And like, I can't answer that. I had a 1-year-old. I had a son. My wife at the time, we were going through our problems, but I thought that we could stick it out. And after I saw all these things happening and they put us on the trains, I mean, I hit a fucking depression, bro. I'm talking like I had a surgery scheduled. I had a deviated septum and I ended up having that surgery right after the disbanding happened. And we ended up going to the trains and I ended up staying in bed for like 2 fucking weeks straight when I only really needed 3 days to recover. But like, I just couldn't get out of bed. And depression. I had days to use because I had a surgery. So like, I didn't have to be working. And I remember just laying in bed and thinking like, what the fuck am I doing in my life? Like, is this really what I want? Do I want to just wait around until I can end up doing the same thing that I was doing before and feeling like I'm 3 years behind, when in reality, like, I haven't done any of my work. I'm a fucking asshole. And then I made a change and I made a decision. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to leave the department within 2 years. And I started a business. I went through all the certifications. I got everything right. And I use my ADHD as like the superpower that sometimes it can be when you hyper focus on something. And I just found everything out that I could. And I started doing it by myself. And eventually I hired a mentor, a business coach, and it fucking just took off. It took off. Everybody thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy. Everybody at work started talking shit. People that knew me as, Juan the cop or Juan the guy that knows every fucking dude on the west side for all the gangs and shit. Like, that's not him anymore. And everybody was just taking their time. They were enjoying it. And nothing against them. I love them. And, they're amazing people. And we still talk and all that. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there and just do what I was doing and like be happy with who I was, just because I hadn't done the healing and I was looking for fucking some sort of chaos, some sort of dopamine, something that felt like I was worth my fucking salt. And I remember like just saying like, I'm going to fucking do this. And I did it. And I ended up going through a divorce at the same time. I was going through even more depression, and I was building this business while I was going through a very, very tumultuous divorce.
I feel you on that, dude.
Yeah, man. And it's what kept me alive, I think, because I was building something that was helping me have a little bit of reason and purpose in my mind. And I remember like when I had like 10 clients, and right now we have 90 clients, I believe. I remember like at 10 clients being like, holy fuck, like I just hit double digits. I can do this.
Right.
And I kept fucking doing it. and everything fucking worked out, not because I hoped it would, but because I fucking like designed it this way, where the divorce was finalized in September of last year, and she moved out of my house. And then in November, at my 2-year mark, I put in my resignation paperwork, and everybody couldn't believe that I did it, and they all thought I was gonna flop. And not everybody. I mean, I have the people that are there for me, but like people that I knew that would cheer for me and in private with me, I would hear what they were saying behind my back, to other people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's never anything good, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, without getting too much into it, it's more about them than it is about you. And I've learned to understand that at the end of the day, like, nobody gets to see what you're doing 24/7, so therefore no one can judge whether you're successful or not, because nobody has all the information besides you.
Right.
And yeah, I quit the job and I'm doing this full time, and it's been fucking going pretty amazing, man.
And that's VetRise, correct?
Yeah.
And you're a coach
so
at
VetRise Academy is a company that we founded, and we do online coaching for veterans. It's
Nice.
not just about fitness or nutrition or accountability. It's about all of it. It's about understanding that it is not a never-ending transition. It has to be a reset where you address certain things. And if you get in a good routine by remembering that structure is actually a privilege and it helped you at one point, then you can do a lot of that work and come on the other side of it in a much better place. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're helping people find that sense of purpose, because you're doing now something that's bigger than yourself, helping other people. That's awesome, man. I mean, I think so many cops, there's so many cops that myself included, have gone through depressive states, or maybe have post-traumatic stress or whatever from there been involved in. And it gets real fucking quick when you least expect it. And to have this lifeline out there for, vets and, people like that, I think that's a big thing. And I think it's awesome. And I think you're doing some pretty cool shit. And, if there's haters out there, they're fuck them, dude. Like, it is what it is. People are always going to hate. But you know what? And then when you make it, they're going to be like, oh, I fucking supported that guy. Fuck you, man. Like, no, dude, like, we see you, we recognize you, we'll love you because we know who you are. But at the same time, we're not going to fucking take your shit if you try to come back. Like, no, dude. Like, no, arm's distance, bud. It's that type of shit. And I think what you're doing is really cool. Can you talk a little bit about, I know you help, but what exactly is the stuff that you're doing on a day-to-day with some of these guys?
All right. So a lot of what I do on a day-to-day with the entire group is a lot of the things that I've been working on for the past 4 or 5 years of my own journey, and getting halfway through that journey and then realizing that it's not that I was walking in the wrong direction, but I was taking baby steps. And since I decided to quit my job, and we're coming up on that 3-year mark of the business, it's easy to look back and look at the things that did work. And the things that we focus on is, when we start them off, we get them into a community, and it's different than the other, in my opinion, I'm biased, but it's different than the other veteran groups out there, because it's not about what you did in the military. I don't want you just talking all about what you did or how this military branch was better or about your MOS. It's not that I don't care about what you did, but I care more about what you're doing now and what you want to do. So we get them into a community, and we start shifting that mindset of like, and we have sergeant majors in our program. And it's like, you are not Sergeant Major blank anymore. Like, you need to introduce yourself as Tommy or whatever you want to call yourself, but like, you have to be a new person. Like, things don't transfer over. This isn't where one university will take your credits from another university and everything's the same. Like, this is a different place.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we talk about is like, you have to understand it's as if you are moving to a new country. It's a brand new society for you, because when you were 18, what the hell did you know about the world? Nothing. You're a child. And we talk about these things. We have coaching calls every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We do bi-weekly check-ins where we track their progress, and we try and identify patterns for them that they can find. For example, like, I'm going to point out to someone every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you are staying up, and therefore on Mondays you're missing your workout. You're sabotaging during the weekends. And we talk about, like, you're over drinking yourself because you're not getting enough protein throughout the day. Like, this is affecting you. And sleep and steps and all that stuff. And it's a fitness program at the foundation level, because I want them to get in their bodies and feel confident again. But that's level one. Level one is like changing your environments. And that starts with like getting into the gym and saying no to people. And we talk about boundaries and self-limiting beliefs. And we want to get them to level 2, which is the mindset that the environment is now something that is in their control because they decide what they allow into their life because of the way that they live their life now. It's not manual anymore. It's almost automatic. And level 1 and level 2 are also different, in my opinion, because level 1 of change of your journey is like you're running away from something. You're running away from a life that you didn't enjoy. Something about it bothered you and you want different. And you have a little bit of anger, a little bit of fear, a little bit of scarcity and desperation. And I know that because I was there for a long time. As I was building my business, I was like, I need to work so hard that I never go back to my old life. But eventually it has to switch because level 1, once your life gets good enough, you stop running as hard because you're far away from that danger. And you feel like, well, this is good enough. And it catches up to you. Level 2 is like you're no longer running away from it. You're running towards something. You're actually happy to wake up every day. You look forward to your life. You love yourself. You're doing it out of abundance and love, not out of anger or scarcity. And like that's where we also want to get them to and use all the skills from the military as a catapult into the future. But we address the things that might seem like it's not really an issue. But we talk about it because guess what? In the military, you learned to raise your hand and volunteer for everything. So now you have a problem saying no, and you don't realize that it's actually a boundary issue that you have to fix. Otherwise, by the end of the month, you'll resent everybody because nobody showed up for you when you kept volunteering for everything. So
yeah, I totally get that, and that's awesome. I mean, that's fucking sick. Do you think you're gonna start doing cops too eventually down the road?
Down the road, I want to open up my program a little bit larger, but one thing that I've learned is like focus in building something really big and really successful is not just only paying attention to that, but it's also like the elimination of distractions. And I know that out of the hundreds of ideas that have come up in my head, or the stuff that people pitch me, or the programs that they want me to be a part of, or this or that, or this board, like I can't do it because I know what I'm trying to build. And I need to eliminate distractions because I can't focus on the one thing that I'm trying to build if my attention is in a bunch of different places. So down the line, yes. But right now we have other stuff in the works right now that's happening that we want to grow out a little bit more.
100%. It's kind of something that you went back to previous is not being a jack of all trades and being expert in this one area and then moving on to shifting your field of fire to the next. Yeah. You know what I mean? I totally get that and I respect it, and that's fucking awesome. And if you're a vet and you think you need some help, go to vetrise.us, www.vetrise.us. That is www.vetrise.us. If you want to get in touch with Coach JP, Juan Perez, I mean, I think it's fucking awesome. And we're getting close to our time and getting at the end. And so at this time, and I know you and I we could go on for forever on that first your stint in the military and the Marine Corps. I mean, we could probably go for hours on that and then fucking shift our focus and talk about law enforcement and policing and what it was like, you know, policing in Chicago. And, you know, we could probably wrap for that for another couple hours. I mean, we would be sitting here for the rest of the night. And so I think that it would be great to have you back on to talk about more about mental health and more about law enforcement. Because we spent a lot of this episode talking about the military. I would love to have you back on here shortly, or, you know, down the road whenever you're available, maybe August or maybe October or something like that, to get you back on, talk about the law enforcement side of it, because I think that would be awesome. And to see what you got going on then, or how it's your business is growing. Cause I think this is something that's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to watch how you progress. I mean, already it seems like you're kicking ass at this, and it's pretty fucking awesome. But we are getting ready at time. So I want to give our guest a chance to dedicate an episode. We always do this. And I know you have a dedication. So the floor is yours, my guy. What is your dedication?
I would like to dedicate this episode to a friend of mine who I served with. And his name is Chris Clark. He was there when we got into our first firefight. He was there when we had to medevac Colin. He was a team leader on the squad that I was a part of. And he taught us a lot of things. He had one of those funny birthdays that he ended up being able to enlist a little bit earlier. I guess his parents signed a waiver, but he was just a little bit older than us, and he was our leader. He was in the peer group ahead of us. And you looked at him and you just saw this old wise man, because he never lost his fucking cool. He always had the answers, and you just wanted to be like Chris Clark. He felt like fucking, you know, Superman, but he wasn't. And we saw him this way, and we ended up coming back from Afghanistan, got out of the military. We would keep in touch here and there, and one day he ended up taking his life.
Mm.
And it's hard because we become desensitized as police officers, and then it hits you from someone that you know so well, and it's just these emotions that make you feel very uncomfortable because you haven't dealt with these emotions, but they're also like you deal with death so much that it's this weird type of death now that it's someone that you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to dedicate this to Chris. I miss him, I love him, and I also know that it's one of the reasons why I do what I do and why I want to make an impact on like the veteran culture. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, rest easy, brother. We've got it from here. I mean, that's fucking touching, dude. And now you're a part of War Story family, dude. Like, anything you got going on will help you promote it and all that stuff. I mean, that's awesome. And thank you so much for coming on, Juan. I mean, that was fuck, dude. That's rough. And I mean, if you're in the military, you've been affected by something like this, and it's tough and it never gets easier. And you're so right. We do get desensitized as cops because we deal with death so frequently. I mean, my wife asked me when we were dating, or I think we were just married, we were dating, and she was like, how many dead people have you seen? I was like this week?
Yeah.
And I say this quite frequently, and I'm like, she was like, what the fuck? I'm like, no, dude, like ever. And I was like, oh, dude, I don't know. Like this week is probably like 4 or 5, and that was when I was dealing with a rough one too. And I was like, but yeah, and you just get so desensitized. You see people all fucked up, like blood pools in their face, bitten off tongues, just fucked up from a traffic accident or shot in the head. You're just like, another day at the office. You know what I mean? So I totally get where you're coming from. And when it hits you, when it's someone personal, it hits in a different way. And it kind of sends like a lot of emotions flooding. So if you ever need people to talk to, we're here. And again, rest easy, brother. We've got it from here. I mean, that's fucking rough, dude. And I want to say thank you so much for coming out today. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow us on our Instagram at war_stories_official and our Facebook at War Stories Podcast. If you're already following, we'd really appreciate it if you could share our post and help spread the word. You can also check the link out on our bio on both platforms to find all of our social media links, and our website. Our podcast available on all major streaming platforms, including YouTube. And on YouTube, make sure to hit that notification bell, all that funny mumbo jumbo. You know what to do. I don't have to keep reciting myself, but make sure you hit that notification bell so that anytime we drop a live episode or a new episode drops of War Stories, you get notified and you can watch it immediately, because all of these things are recorded and videotaped. So you can see it. If you want to listen to it on podcast, just listen to it on a podcast. That's cool too, but then you can't see our beautiful faces. And if you want to support us, you can head over to our website at www.warstoriesofficial.com and grab some gear. We have some Whoopie hoodies and some other stuff there. If you've placed an order and we haven't seen it, our notifications are messed up and we will get to you. And if we do miss something, I will throw something in that you didn't order that will make it worth it. So ask anybody who's had late packages from us. I throw in a shirt or an old hat or something like that. Do you have a story to tell? You know someone who does? We're always looking for law enforcement, veterans, corrections officers, dispatchers, firefighters, medics, ER docs, and ER nurses to feature on the show. If you're interested, please contact our producer Dylan at linkedin.com/War Stories Podcast. You can also hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, DM, and talk to Dylan. He'll set you up. He'll get your email and all that stuff. You can also go to booking.warstories@gmail.com and you can email me there. I haven't been getting any emails there, so I think you guys have all been going to LinkedIn, so that's awesome. Please keep going to LinkedIn. Booking.warstories@gmail.com is a bit slow. So if you want to be featured on the show and it's important to you, go to LinkedIn, create a LinkedIn profile. It's awesome. And you can talk to a lot of people who are like-minded, especially on LinkedIn. And you can also check us out on TikTok at www.tiktok.com/War Stories Locker Room. And our producer Dylan is there as well. Thank you for the support. Again, stay safe and come home with your shield or on it.